Good morning, Dream Team. Just a quick training on price. I've just been asked in the last 5 minutes, how do you deal with price objections? Okay, so I have done training on this before, so some of you will have already seen that. So I'm just going to expand on that a little bit more. So let's take a look at this for a moment. Imagine, I used to live in Brazil, many of you know that. Imagine if I could nip back to the UK, grab a car from the showroom, nip back to Brazil, plonk it in the street, and whatever the price was in the UK, let's say it was 15,000, I could tell everybody, who wants to buy this car? It's £15,000, equivalent in reals. Okay, so what would people think about the price? Would they think that was really expensive? It's a third world country, Brazil, so they're going to think that's expensive. They're going to think it's cheap. They're going to think it's, what they're going to think. Well, I know what they're going to think. They're going to think, wow, that is really cheap. Why would they possibly think that? Why would they think that? I'll tell you why. Because in Brazil, cars are about twice or three times, sometimes four times as expensive as they are in the UK. So they're going to be comparing to their standard price, and they're going to think a price that in the UK people might think is expensive, they're going to think it's cheap. Okay, so what they're doing, and what we all do when we compare prices, they're comparing it to something else that they think is equivalent and judging it on that basis. So what would happen? Let's say one of my friends got engaged and she had a wonderful big diamond ring. Okay, and she showed me and said, "Oh, what do you think of this?" I think, "Oh, it's lovely." "How much do you think it is?" she says. Or let's say she even told me it was £1,000. What do you think? Is that a good value? No idea. Absolutely no idea. Why? Because I have nothing to compare it to, because I know nothing about diamond rings. I have no clue what a diamond is supposed to be worth. So I've got no comparison on a diamond ring because I don't have any knowledge on that subject. So I wouldn't be able to say if that was a good price. It might be a stellar price. It might be way overpriced. I'd have no idea. So you've got to understand, this is really, really important. Before someone makes a judgment on whether something is good value, expensive, or whatever, they are comparing it to something. Right, once you've grasped that, we can move forward. Okay, so what do you think someone is comparing soul or core to? When they say to you, how much is that soul? What are they comparing it to? Okay, now in most cases, if you have not given them any reason to do anything different, they will compare it to, they'll see it as a supplement, and they will compare it to some other supplement that they know of. Okay, now if they normally buy from the local store, the local health shop or whatever, they're probably buying vitamins and minerals that are complete rubbish, synthetic, fillers, crap, rubbish. Right, but the one thing that they've got going for them is they're cheap. Okay, so if you go in the UK to Holland and Barrett, or in the US, I don't know, GNC or Walmart, even wherever you go for your supplements, if you're going to the corporation stores, they have lots and lots of vitamins and minerals that are complete and utter rubbish, but pretty inexpensive. Now, if that's what the person you're talking to knows and understands, they will have in their mind maybe £8 or $20 or whatever it is, whatever country you're in, they're going to have a pretty low price. I mean, probably not $20. That's probably more than maybe $10, $12, $15 a month for their vitamin or mineral supplement that they're going to be comparing it to. So, very important to grasp this. They have in their head something to compare it to, and that something is probably something from a store which is a lot cheaper, and they think it's comparable. Now you and I, because we're more educated in nutrition, we know it isn't comparable. Okay, but they think it is. It doesn't matter what you think, it matters what they think. So here's what you have to do. You have to change what they think. Okay, you have to change that before you give them the price. It's much harder to change it after you've given them the price. They've already decided it's expensive at that point, and now it's difficult to move that position. So you have to change their comparison in their head before you give them the price. So you don't want them comparing soul or core or form. You don't want them comparing it to the standard vitamin mineral product that they're going to buy in the store or from Amazon or wherever they buy their stuff. You don't want that. You want them to have a realistic comparison. Okay, so what do you get them to compare it to? Well, as you all know, Sol is roughly equivalent to about 20 servings of organic fruit, veggies, and good fat foods. By the way, that's not a scientific absolute. Fruit and veggies and all the rest of it, the same two fruit from two different places could have quite different vitamins and minerals and so on. It's not a pharmaceutical drug. It's not a precise science here, because it changes. It depends on the age of the fruit, it depends on the vegetable, it depends on where it was grown, lots of variables. Okay, so it's an approximation. Okay, just based on the fact that seeds are 20 to 30 times more concentrated than the plant they're going to become. Okay, so that's what that's based on. It's an approximation. Okay, so Sol is approximately 20 servings of organic fruit and veggies. So that's what I want them to compare it to. So I will usually tell a little story to kind of set the scene and get their mind thinking down this track. And I will say, I don't know whether you juice or not. Personally, I'm a big believer in juicing. I don't do it much because it's so messy and expensive and it doesn't taste that great, but I'm a believer in it, and I do juice. And one of the problems with juicing, right, that I personally have, and I'm sure you do, and I ask them, have you juiced? And a lot of the time, if they're into health, they have. I'll say, great, so you're going to know how difficult it is to get 20 servings of organic anything, right? Because unless you want to have just one veg or one fruit, because you can find the odd ones, but to get a range is really difficult to get all the fruit and all the veg you want in organic. So I just highlight that problem, because if they've juiced, they're going to know that that's true. And then you think, yeah, so you end up having to have non-organic fruit and veg in your mix, which is not good. That's the first point that I make before I even get to cost. Okay, so that's the first point. So the second point that I make is the other thing you're going to know is how much fruit and veg you have to buy to get hardly any juice. Like it's ridiculous. And 20 servings, and I'll say to them, I've not actually worked out the price of 20 servings, and obviously that price would vary depending on which fruit and veg, and whether they're in or out of season, and a range of things. So it's not an exact price, but what I do know is it's expensive, right? It doesn't come cheap. I'm sure you know that. And they're going, yeah, that's true. Okay, so what have I done? I've got them thinking in line now with what fruit and organic fruit and veg costs and how expensive it is. So, and that's 20 servings are comparable to Sol. So I've now changed their thinking about what to compare it to. So now I'm going to say, well, you'll be pleased to know that Sol manages to do all of that for under $3. Or in the UK, I say for £2.40. Okay. And I have people say to me, wow, that's good. I've even had people say that's too cheap. Okay, because I've changed their mind, I've changed their thinking on what they're comparing it to. Okay, so it's very, very important that before you talk about price, you have their mind changed about what they're comparing it to, because nearly everyone, some people are already comparing it correctly, but nearly everyone is comparing it to some cheap ass vitamin or mineral supplement that they get from the local store. Okay, so that is what you need to do. If you're getting the objection regularly that it's too expensive, it's because you've not done that properly. Now, one more thing I'm going to say on the point. Some people are going to say it's too expensive, not because it's not good value, but because they haven't got the money. So I might say a Porsche is too expensive, irrelevant of whether it's good value or not. I'm not even going to get into that, but maybe, I just can't afford a Porsche. I can't justify that amount of money on a Porsche and the running costs and all the rest of it. So it's too expensive, even if it's good value, even if it's great value, it's out of my price league. So there are some people, okay, and it's sad to say because we're only talking a couple of pounds a day, right? But there are some people who just haven't got the money. Now, of course, there might be people you want to talk to about, well, listen, there's a business opportunity where you can create an extra income. How would you like £500 a month extra? They might be the people to talk to about that. But anyway, that's by the by. So there are some people, the real objection is not that it's not good value, but the objection is they haven't got the money. So sometimes that's what they mean by too expensive. Right, so that you can't deal with just in the way that I've just done. That you're going to have to present business opportunity. Really, that's what I would do there. If someone hasn't got any money, if they can't even afford to pay their electric, it doesn't matter what the price is, it's going to be too expensive for them. Okay, that's not the majority of people, that's a percentage of people, but you have to learn to distinguish between those two people. So the people who have got the money, you know, but think it's too expensive because they've compared it to something wrong, which is most of the people that think it's too expensive, that's how you deal with it. Okay, so I don't know if there's anybody actually on. This is the first time I've ever done a live actually on my PC. First time ever. I've only ever done them on my phone. Oh, there is at least one person on. I hope it's Tracy. Okay, hi Tracy. I think it's Tracy. Anyway, at least Tracy has sent it is. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. Obviously there's only one person on right now, but people will get a chance to watch it later. So okay, thank you very much, and please, this is a really important thing to learn, because price is an issue if it's not handled correctly. You know, £72, which is what it is in the UK, including tax and shipping and all the rest of it, £72, right, is a chunk of money if they don't understand the value. Okay, so they have to understand the value. Of course, £72 is very cheap compared to a house. So what are we comparing it to? Okay, it's very cheap compared to cancer. Okay, it's very cheap compared to pain. It just depends what you're comparing it to. Okay, God bless you all. Hope that was helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.